Hello, Tima. I met a lady years ago. It wasn't really a meeting, more like crossing paths without knowing what destiny had quietly written ahead. She and her mother used to visit my father, a man of faith, a teacher, the kind of man people came to for guidance. I remembered her for those visits, still young, quiet, graceful. We never spoke, but somehow her presence stayed with me. Years went by, yet the thought of her never left. I didn't know where she lived, but I hoped fate would one day bridge the distance between us. And one day, through a mutual friend, it did. When my friend finally introduced us over the phone, it felt surreal. She already knew my name, even though we had never spoken before. That small detail felt like a sign, like our stories had always been quietly intertwined. When we eventually met in person, I remember the exact moment her smile, her calmness, the warmth in her eyes. Something shifted inside me that day. It felt like my heart had been waiting for the conversation all along. She opened up slowly. In her voice, I heard both pain and courage. She told me about her past, how at 16 she had been forced into marriage by those who would have protected her. She spoke of the nights she cried herself to sleep, the moment she walked away from a home that had become a prison, and the two children she raised along after being abandoned by the man who should have stood by her. I saw a pain in her eyes. Yes, but also strength. A quiet kind of resilience that made me want to protect her. To rewrite her story somehow, maybe that's why I fell in love. Because I understood her pain. I had seen my own mother leave that same struggle, raising me and my sister when my father wasn't there. From that understanding, my love for her grew sincere, patient, and deep. Life wasn't easy for her. She lived in her parents' home, barely surviving. Sometimes she made choices I didn't understand, leaning on people she shouldn't have, telling little lies to survive, but I never judged her. I told myself her struggles drove those choices, not her heart. She would call and say, "Please, I just need something for the kids tonight." And no matter how tired or broke I was, I always found a way to help. I worked long hours at Tema Harbor, but I gave freely because love to me meant sacrifice. Then one day, she told me something that changed everything. She said she was 4 months pregnant for someone. The name all alone cut through me. He wasn't just anyone, he was my childhood friend. We grew up together, prayed together, learned together. And now the woman I loved was carrying his child. She was terrified, uncertain, and wanted to end the pregnancy. I begged her to think it through, but she said she couldn't raise another child alone, that a guy had no job or plan. In the end, despite the pain, I helped her. I found a clinic, paid 1,600 Ghana cedis for the procedure. She never knew how much it broke me to do that. Later, she told the guy she had a miscarriage. I still carried that guilt quietly between me and Allah. After that, she tried to rebuild her life. I helped her find work, first at an electrical store, then at a wine shop. She struggled, but she kept trying. Then, in 2014, my life took a new turn. I joined an Airways. And even then, the first person I thought about was her. I wanted her to experience stability, to have something of her own. I paid for a passport, supported her kids, and when she applied to the Airways, I personally handled her forms, emails, and interview prep. She got the job. That day, I felt proud, like I had given her wings. When she arrived in the country, I couldn't wait to see her. I got her phone, a laptop, money to start life, and a few personal items. I wasn't trying to impress her. I just wanted to show her that someone still cared without expecting anything in return. Then came another storm. She thought she was pregnant again. Fear consumed her. She was scared of losing her job. I paid for a flight back to Ghana and sent her 3,500 Ghana cedis to take care of herself. I did it quietly. No complaints, no conditions, because love, real love, doesn't seek applause. But sometimes what hurts most isn't what someone does, it's what they don't do. A few weeks later, I fell sick. Badly, I was admitted to the hospital. Weak and alone. I called her several times, but she didn't answer. Later, she said she was in the washroom getting ready for work. I understood, but my heart didn't. Because if it had been her lying there, I know I wouldn't have rested until I made sure she was okay. That day, I realized how painful it is when the person you trust to catch you isn't there when you fall. Still, I never stopped caring. When I was preparing for my vacation, I asked to use my old SIM card, the one I had given her when she traveled. She said she'd left it at home, but later that day, she went out near my workplace and never mentioned it. The silence said more than words ever could. Then came the day she returned everything, the laptop, the phones, no word, no explanation, just quiet closure. That's when I understood that sometimes love ends not with betrayal or anger, but with silence. I've never spoken about this story before, not because I'm ashamed, but because my love was never for show. Everything I did came from a place of sincerity. I didn't want validation. I only wanted to matter to her and in her story, but even in heartbreak, I'm thankful for every smile, every conversation, every small act of kindness, because through it all, I loved her deeply, sincerely, and maybe too much. And I've learned something beautiful. Sometimes love doesn't need a happy ending to be real. Sometimes love teaches us peace through pain and silence through heartbreak. Now, here, I'm still grateful, still healing, still remembering. I don't hate her. I don't regret loving her, but my heart is quiet now. So I ask myself every night before I sleep, after loving this deeply, after giving this much, after losing so silently, what should I do? Comments are welcome. Be inspired by Tima. Thank you. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Tima Kumkum Official. Thank you for watching. Bye.